Okay, make sure everything is good on my side. I'm pretty sure my screen is fine. We'll close down any other extra stuff that's not needed. Oh, I love you too, Ashen. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hello, Frox. Welcome. This is going to be a pretty cool one, you guys. It's going to be a very short stream, not as long as we normally like our normal ones. Hey, Foxy. Welcome. These are specifically, we're inside of the Hangout Barn, but we renamed it to the Beginner's Barn for this stream. Tora, thank you for the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much for that. Welcome. Welcome, you guys. We're only doing the stream for about like an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on if we do get new users to come inside of here, or even if there's just questions here inside the chat through the stuff that we're going to be doing to help you guys learn about Neos, as well as maybe some like tips and tricks that you guys might have not seen. Even if you're experienced users, you probably still like learn some stuff today. But they're specifically, these streams are dedicated and made out so then new users can watch these streams and learn about how Neos works, because normally we talk about a lot of different stuff that is more for our veteran users and not as much for beginner users. So that's what these streams tend to lean towards. As it says, I'm so happy to learn. I would hop on if I wasn't doing work stuff. Yeah, understandable. That's why we got these streams up, so we can teach people. Just kind of like the first stream is going over a lot of the basics. Thank you, Heaven, for the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much for that. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you guys. Yes, you will all be shown the ways. Extra hype. And I'm Wilco's a beginner, so perfect. This is already going great. We got a few beginner users inside of the chat already. We're not going to start up the stream until about 5 more minutes and wait till more people figure out what's going on. As well as, you know, invite your friends, send the link over and make them realize like we're doing this right now to help them out and make them so then they can understand just kind of like the small basics. As well, we have another additional thing now, the new UI hand menus, which these ones are quite beautiful. I'll actually turn on my lasers this whole time during the stream so you guys can see me interacting with stuff. So I have my undo, my redo function. We'll also be talking about this a lot more during Friday's stream, about how the new UI is being done out. But you can already see right now it is going to be a lot easier for new users to learn, because the UI is no longer on your hand anymore. It's now just off on your hand as like a radial menu. Atyrox, thank you for the follow. Thank you for that. SJF says, hey, currently updating phone to the latest Net Hunter firmware. About time they get updated the firmware, so I'll be lurking. Nice, sounds good. Yeah, so this new UI, it's going to be really great that we're going off of that as our reference, because this is everything of what new users are going to be seeing once they first come inside of here to learn about Neos. Is they're going to see now we have this brand new hand menu UI that's going to be a lot easier to use. You can also hold down trigger and select an object and select a selection that way by holding trigger and going that way, or you can just aim at the button itself and pull down trigger and it'll activate that way too. So this is going to be a lot easier for people who are using like a Vive controller or a Windows Mixed Reality controller, because before, if they had this open, they wouldn't have been able to move forward, but now they can, because they can just move their hand away from it.
Thank you for following Senior Bulbasaur.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are liking the new UI. I mean, this is like a little baby step. This is like a little.
This is just the beginning.
This is just a little bit of the chocolate sauce on the ice cream, but you guys haven't gotten into the whole sundae yet. The whole sundae will be once the whole UI gets going through. You're clinkety clinking, boy. Slay, thank you for the follow as well. We'll be getting into it pretty soon, you guys. And again, we're going to be just discussing very beginner stuff inside of Neos. Never use tools or anything in Neos, only import models or assets. Yep, we're going to be going over tools today. We're going to be going over very basic, simplistic stuff of like how you'd probably enter inside of Neos if it was your first time, and how to actually get inside of worlds and how to get that going. I don't know what notification that was for. Oh, thank you, Ashen, for the 500 bits. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that, Ashen. Biddies! Yay. Helps us out so then we can do more of these streams. And as you can see, I'm going to be keeping these laser beams online so you guys can see what I'm aiming at with my hands. So they're not going to be turned off. They're going to be on. You don't have to keep yours on, boy. Hey, Will. Welcome. Welcome to everyone. Nice to have you all here. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes for you guys. Just waiting for a few more people to come in. And then we'll get on our way as to what you'll probably experience your first time coming inside of Neos, and hopefully making it a much better experience. Even the tutorial stuff that we have so far as our videos, I wouldn't even use those as much right now because there's so much that's being overhauled and overdone with the UI that I'll have to remake tutorial videos. And we're also doing this as a side series every single week on Fridays or on Wednesdays. So then, you know, you guys can know, because there's so much stuff that's changing about Neos every single day. It's hard to keep up or make a tutorial video for it because that video could be out of date in about 2 weeks. So making these kind of streams are going to make it so then it keeps beginner users understanding what changes have been made, and then making it so then it's easier for them. Plus, I think a direct asking questions and doing stuff. And yeah, Frox is working on the new build right now. So... And thank you for supporting us, Ashton, because we're here to support you back. We want everything that's going on here inside of Neos to be able to support back out our community. So all the stuff of support that you guys give to us, we're just going to give right back to you. And thank you, Bobatron, for the raid. Thank you for that raid, for the 9 viewers. I guess that can be a really good time for us to kind of like get started off, because now we got quite a few more viewers inside of here to start watching what we're going to be doing for showing off the cool things that you can do to start even setting up for one, you're an avatar inside of here, saving it, objects and importing them, all this fun stuff. So we're going to be getting into that quite soon. Oh, and Heaven, thank you so much for all of those gifted subs. Heaven, you're so incredible. Thank you for that. Anyone who got a gifted sub inside of here, be sure to thank Aegis. Thank Heaven for a gifted sub because you got a gifted sub.
I got one, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Let the sub wars begin.
Okay, so let me go to my Unity folder just to make sure that that's open and we have the right folder that you guys can see. I know there's all these the followers. They're all in my face now. Let's see, where is my Unity folder? Neos Unity, perfect.
Hi, Jesse.
Neo's cast just finished for the
Hey, Jessley.
So
Welcome.
you're gonna get a big influx of other people pretty soon.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be sure to keep this world for the most part. This isn't a world to hang out in, you guys. So this is mostly a world to teach new users. So if you're not coming inside of here to learn or coming inside of here to help with the stream, then be on your way, because it's not a chatting talk stream. It's going to be a stream to show new users like what to do and how to do stuff. Thanks, Leon. Love you as well, man. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing that I'd like to go over is when you come into Neos, let me actually get into, does anybody have one of those default avatars? Like the default head avatar? Does anyone have that character? It might be inside of... I might actually have head avatars. Yeah, the headset avatar. I need the headset avatar. Not that avatar, the headset one. Do you know where that one's at? I could actually just grab it from a scratch space.
Hold on,
so
I have an idea.
I can unfavor my. Yeah, actually, you're not wrong.
Problem solved.
Yeah, I can do that. Here, so let me unfavorite my character real quick, and then I'll respawn in as it. You can also grab these avatars from the scratch space world as well. I have. I'm just not on it. Cool. So let me also open out so you guys can see entirely my UI, and then it's rendered on the camera. So you guys can see this UI, and I'm sure you can see my belt UI as well now, which is going to be really important going forward to teach you guys about this different stuff that's inside of here. So let me actually get that out of the way so it's not in there. Cool. So when you first spawn inside of Neos, you're going to be kind of like this default VR headset, and you're going to be going around inside of the metaverse training experience, and there's going to be like signs there, and you'll pass through kind of like these different hallways to learn about different stuff. But for the most part, you'll be just a default character with these robot hands and this VR headset. And I recommend the first thing always what a new user should do is sign up for an account for Neos. And the most important reason why you would want to sign up for your account is you're going to be able to save stuff inside of your inventory. You're going to be able to add people as friends. And you're going to be able to import out different objects and be able to save those objects. So making an account all around is going to be a very good idea if it's your first time here in Neos. You can sign up on our website, or you can sign up directly inside of here as well, and you just have to verify it through email. And then once you get that taken care of, the best thing that you can do afterwards is kind of like figuring out how to get into a character or how to get into an avatar. And we do have default avatars that you can get inside of, or we have avatars that are even in the meta movie training experience, or you can even import your own character. And we'll be talking about that in a little bit, and we can answer questions about importing avatars and how to set those up, yada, 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 all that fun stuff. Lil Beaker says, the game is whack unless you make an account. People, please, please, please make an account. Most frustrating thing for new peeps. Yeah, always make an account. That's my number one tip for new users. Make your account first, and then we can actually help you by adding you as a friend and helping you inside the world and in the space. So you're going to be as this avatar. Now, let me show you. Thank you, Ashen, for the gifted sub. So let me show you guys right now on my private UI. We can go into the Neos Essentials, and now every single user has in their inventory, even if you're logged in or not logged in, you have this as your section to be able to go through, and you have all of these items to your access. There's always more items and always new avatars and new stuff that's always added into the Neos Essentials, so be sure to check that out as well. And if you want, let's scale this up a little bit. So we see that there's avatars right here, right? So we're gonna double press trigger over where we want to be, and we have all these characters. Now, if you've already made an account, you can actually select an avatar and hit it and hit the heart icon, and that's going to make it your default avatar. So if I hit the heart icon right now, you can see that it's made like this purple outline of it, and that's going to set it up so then that character is going to be your default avatar. Now, let's say if I don't want that as my avatar, I can just hit the heart button again, and now it deselects that as my avatar, right? So let's say I want to equip this avatar. There's two ways that you can get into your avatar. The first way is you can just double click on the character, spawn it out, and pull trigger and enter into it. And then I would enter this in as my body. Or I can hit the lightning bolt while I'm selecting an avatar, and I can equip it out that way too. So let's say if I want to get into this one and I hit the lightning bolt, it's going to immediately swap me into my avatar. So you can see right there, let me get the hand, let me get the hand menu. So you can see me just selecting the lightning bolt. It's going to equip out these different characters, and I can quickly switch and change in between avatars as I so choose. Yeah, that took me like 3 days to learn how to set up my own avatar. Yeah, that's why we're gonna help you guys with the process inside of here, so then it becomes even that much easier. So then it doesn't take you 3 days, it'll take you just a couple minutes. Yep, these colored volleys are full access. You can also, another cool thing about these volleys, if you press down both triggers, it activates a shield, and you can bounce other users around. So, and fun little additional detail about the volley characters that are inside the Neos Essentials, so they have a cool little interaction to them. Let me get back into just the default avatar real quick. There you go. Also, another quick tip for new users, to respawn yourself right now, also it's showing the notification of Frox is online because I have my UI shown. To respawn yourself, what you're going to do is the same buttons, you have hand menu buttons, and usually these are different for each controller, but usually for the Vive control, let me actually spawn out controller layouts real quick. So let's spawn out like the Vive controller, Windows Mixed Reality controller, the Oculus controller, and Actually,
And the
since
index.
since most people are using the Rift S controller for their thing, we can just use that.
Yep.
So the button that you're going to press for each one on Windows Mixed Reality, it's going to be this button. That's going to be your controller menu button. It's going to be this button right here for the Vive controller. It's going to be this button right here for your Rift S controller or for your Oculus Rift. And same, so it's going to be the same for those buttons, pressing their menu buttons. And then for the index, it's going to be the same as well. Pressing the B button right there is going to be your menu controller button. So now that you know which button it is pressed for your controller layout, you're going to move your hands to the left side of your head. So you're basically going to move both controllers to the left side of your head and moving them up to your headspace. And then you're going to hold down your left grip button and hold down those two menu buttons. And once you do that, your controllers will vibrate, and then you'll be able to respawn yourself. So just another little tip if you guys didn't know about that. That's how you'd be able to respawn your avatar if you're in a sticky situation, such as your avatar gets stretched out or some weird stuff happens.
Or you can't access the menu.
Yeah, or you can't access your menu and you just need to respawn yourself. That's the best way to do it. Or just restart Neos.
The other one that is very similar to that, there's another shortcut where if you just press both menu buttons to the side of your head, it exits you from the world. That's like an emergency exit from the world.
Yeah, so you can exit yourself as well. Please. Okay. So, or you fall off the floor of the retro club. Yeah, stuff like that. Some weird stuff happens sometimes while you're, interacting with stuff. So those things cover how to respawn your avatar, how to start setting up for an account. You can either set up an account like online inside of here or through the website, and it also covers how to get into an avatar. So usually you're wanting to hit like lightning bolt and to equip the avatar, or you can just double click and spawn it out. Now what we can do going ahead forward is messing around even possibly with showing this camera that we have here, which not a lot of new users are probably going to be messing around with, but I really like it because it's a way that people can kind of interact with, like, seeing their own character. You can also spawn out mirrors as well. Like, the mirrors are inside the Neos Essentials. Just double click on mirror, and then you have like these default mirrors that you can spawn out by double clicking on them, and you can, spawn out a mirror this way if you want to see your avatar. But a lot of people also just like using the camera as a way to be able to see themselves, and you can use this menu to zoom in and out of like your camera, as well as you can switch from third person to group to world to manual, taking photos with it, taking 360 photos with it. Which another interesting thing about Neos is there's not just one way to do stuff. There's multitudes of ways of doing things. So you can take a picture this way, or you can go into your inventory and you can spawn out a camera. And spawning out a camera is it's much better of a way of taking higher quality and higher detailed pictures. Yeah, or you can do the finger photo thing as well. Sometimes that doesn't work out quite as well with the finger photo. So if you can get to work, you normally have to go like that, but it's not going to work sometimes. So I'm not going to recommend it. But with this camera, think of this as a normal DSLR camera. So let me hide my UI real quick so we can see this better. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out into this environment real quick, and I'll show you guys through smooth POV right here. We can see that there's a whole bunch of different options. So let me equip my dev tooltip real quick. And if ever you want to equip a tool, there's multiple ways to equip a tool now. You can either open up your hand menu and pull trigger where it says equip, and then it'll equip your tool. You can also open up that same hand menu and press trigger and it'll de-equip it. Or you can grip it with your laser and move back on your joystick, and it'll just snap on that way, and you can double grip to de-equip it or double grip to equip it. So there's multiple ways to equip your tool. And let's check out these options now for the camera that we have. We have this top button right here, which opens and closes this preview that you can see of a better, if you're wanting to take like a selfie or something like that, then you can, have a nice little camera for that. So that's this top button right here. If you want to set timer for it, it sets a 10-second timer for the camera if you want to like run around behind it. This button right here takes the picture and starts the clock and starts the timer. These options right here, though, sets it from being a 2D picture to a 3D picture to a 360 photo and to a render. And then after that, there's also different quality options such as 1K, 2K, 4K, and 8K. We'll set this image to be like 4K, and you can also zoom in and out just by grabbing onto the lens of the DSLR camera and zooming in and out through the options. Bless you. So we'll let's say for example,
cutout.
yeah, I am. So let's take a picture of like Zinni. So I'll zoom in. Hello, Zinni. So I'll zoom in on his character right now, and I'll take a picture of his thing, and I have it set to 4K on the cutout for the render, and you can see I can now have this nice little cutout image of him that I just took. So it's kind of like makes out like a PNG. So these are different options that you can do with this camera that makes it really unique. You can also grab onto the screen, make it go that way as well. So a lot of options for the cameras if you're a new user and want to just start taking pictures here inside of Neos. That's a really amazing tool that everyone should know how to use, and that basically covers all the options and how to do stuff with that. Finger photo is really hard on Vive ones. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing needs to kind of be reworked for the hand picture thing, so that'll probably be at a later date, but I would recommend just using either the camera controls that you're going to be going off of your Dash UI. And just so you guys know, if you could, to find the camera, you either go into your inventory, Neos Essentials, and then you can find this camera right here, and you double click it to spawn it. Or you can go to Tools and Camera/Streaming, and that's what I'm using right now to actually stream this stream. And I'm also able to have it mirrored out to the display, so then it's good for OBS. Damn, I've learned so much in just 10 minutes here than a few hours spent in Neos. Yes, exactly. That's what I hope to push out as much as during these streams, getting these the main beginner points off, so then you guys know how to use stuff and some of the most important items I feel like that are in Neos. So that kind of covers right now so far that we have is signing up, how to get into an avatar and how to use one, as well as how to use the cameras and how different stuff on the UI works. Also, a new thing that every single user that I see coming inside of here, what they want to do is they want to join new people, right? They want to join people, or they want to possibly make their own worlds. They want to make their own content, make their own stuff, right? Good. That's great. The best way that you can find content right now inside of the worlds is you can either A, go into Underworlds and go to Browse Worlds. And what this is going to do is it's going to open up a whole entire directory. So with this directory, I can search for all of the worlds that have been uploaded into Neos, right? And then when you go through that, you can select out, let's say if I want to select this world right here, I could select it and I could either click open world or I can get a world orb. Now, what's interesting about a world orb is most people sometimes like grab onto this and like stick it in their face and they think that's going to enter it. You don't do it that way. You either double click on the bubble. So I can go click. I'm not wanting to enter it right now, but you can either go double click it or you can select the bubble once. And then if you click on it once, there's this little tab is going to open up, and then you can choose a start session as menu. And what that will do is you can set it to be private or friends or whatever you would like, or even change the world name before you enter it. So those are additional options, but all those options can be also changed once you enter the world in the sessions menu. So if you click on session, you can still have the parameters. So I could set this world to be invite only immediately right now if I wanted to. Any questions so far? Are we good? Cool. There's a bug where I can't find more than 40 people on a session. How do I fix that? That's not a bug. Okay, so another thing about this world tab, if you guys didn't know, if you click right here where it says featured, there's a little check mark box. And remember, this UI is going to be completely changed as time goes by, but this will now highlight all of the worlds that we have featured. So if you're wanting to go and find the high quality worlds that we've considered to be decent enough to be able to like hang out with friends in, or just learn about different content or different stuff that's in Neos that's high quality, you can go to any of the worlds that are highlighted orange, and then you'll be able to like scroll through that. And these are only, and remember, these are worlds that do not have active sessions. These are worlds that are just you opening them up on your own. Now, let me get into the fact of active sessions. So right now, the only way that you can gain access to active sessions is by through your inventory, or when you're inside of your local world, there should be a little table that has a whole bunch of these floating orbs. And these floating orbs will actually have the amount of people inside of them, as well as the, as well as the other stuff such as that. But here, right now the thing doesn't want to spawn out with world orbs for me. Whatever. I think it's just like my world. For whatever reason, like my spawn thing is weird. But normally, here I can even go back to my local world and you guys can see it. So you can see there's like little world orbs, and you can see that my session is open and it has the number of users on right there, as well as, double tapping to enter it, which I'm already in it. So that's how you'd enter other users. You can also directly request invites from another user. So like, let's say your friend hops online and you want to add somebody as a friend. You would, let's say for example, I'm on my friends list. You would type in that person's username, you would add them as a friend, they would accept the request, and then they could send you an invite. And you can invite that person directly into the world by just having your friends say invite here. So that's how you could also do it if you were having friends online, to go into a different space, and then you can enter into a world like this. This world is a public world. Anybody has the ability to join inside of here, as long as you're being quiet and polite about, the fact that I'm trying to teach. Yeah, purple is headless, pink is an active session. So this is two different things. A purple orb means a headless server, which can still have people inside of it, but it's a world that's consistently open. And the lightish pink one is going to be, or like the pink one is going to be more for active sessions that already have people in it that somebody's hosting, and they could leave it and then the whole world could close down. So it's not being actively hosted by a headless server, which headless servers are more if everyone crashed, the world would still stay open. Okay, so I feel like that if anybody has any questions in chat over how to enter worlds or how to do that, I think that that's pretty easy, but still some people were not understanding, like you entering through the worlds menu is not going to allow you to have access, at least not yet, to active users. The only way you can do that is through an active sessions dish, and that's going to be changed with the new UI overhaul though. So yeah. Okay, so let's move on now to the next thing, which I think this is going to be a very important thing that new users learn and come by, because there's a lot of content that people might want to try to import in here, and they might not know how to import that stuff. And you'd be incredibly surprised how easy it is to import models and objects here inside of Neos. You don't need any Unity whatsoever. You can import all of your models, all of your images, all of your YouTube videos, all your stuff, all your content directly here inside of Neos. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. One amazing tip always to know about with Neos is there's always probably going to be multiple options on how to do things. So one option that you can do when trying to import either a 3D model or a video or whatever you want is you can copy the file. So you can copy an image, like you would go on your computer, right click copy, or you can go on a YouTube video, copy the YouTube link and paste it here directly into Neos just by pressing Control V on your keyboard. So I'll show this of an example real quick. So could somebody provide me a YouTube video link inside of the Twitch chat, and then you guys can see how easy it is to import a video? It could be any YouTube video at all, as long as it's appropriate. Just anything. Cool. Got something from Tatsu. We'll link that up. Okay. So I copied Tatsu's link, and all I'm going to do is, while Neos is open and highlighted, I'm going to press Control V on my keyboard. Right when I press Control V on my keyboard, it's going to give me now this little menu that's going to say video, 360 video, stereo video, all these different options. Since it's just a YouTube video, I'm just going to click video. It's going to open up right here now. And this is the exact link that he linked out. And I can just hit play. Wonderful. So that right there is, a very easy way to import stuff as if you, yeah, I know. That is a very easy way to import stuff in that way. Or another option is if you don't want to have to paste it in through your computer. Please get that out of here. If you don't want to paste anything in through your computer, what you can do is, my camera's broken? What do you mean? Oh, you're right. Is that better? Okay, cool. There we go. So that's a very easy way to import stuff. Or you can go over here to your Belt UI. You can go to Tools and File Browser. Now, what File Browser does is it allows you to have all of these different import options. Anything that's going to be green is probably going to be a picture. Anything that is yellowish is probably going to be an object or a 3D model. So let's just make an example. We'll import in this model right here. So I'll double click on that model that I want to import. And remember, you're navigating this through your computer. So this would be my computer under my D drive, under my Neos folder. I would recommend inside of whatever drive that you have that you make a separate Neos folder and you name it Neos, and then you put whatever content that you want to upload into Neos into that folder. That's what I would recommend, so then it's easier for you guys to import stuff. So let's import this 3D model. It's going to be just a smoke bomb. So I'm going to go 3D model, regular, auto scale unknown, and then import now. Now I could do import now, or if you really want, you can also go under advanced settings and you can set the material type as you're importing it. So like, let's say if I wanted this to not be PBS and I want this to be like flatlit tune, I can click on these options right here and I can set it now to be flatlit tune. And then now I can run it to be that way if I so choose. So let's set it to be flatlit tune and click run import. And there we go. We now got our item that is flatlit tune and our model that we just imported. And now since we got this model, we can also even edit stuff as well. So inside of your inventory, under your Neos Essentials, you have this material tip, right? So I'm going to spawn out my material tip. I'm going to double click on that. And then I'm going to equip this tool the same way that I equip the dev tooltip. I can either double grip it or I can just grip, open up my hand menu, click on the equip button, and it equips it out. Now, yes, it is bright, and that's why I'm going to reduce the brightness on it right now. And you'll see with me changing the material, I'll be able to do that because the environment around us is very bright. And so, you know, we can change that right now. So I'm going to aim at this and I'm going to press down on the center of my touchpad. It's different for other controllers. It might be pressing down on your joystick to suck out the material or different things like that. But generally there's a thing to just suck out the material. And now that it's in there, I can open up my hand menu and I can go to edit. And this edit option is going to allow me to change the parameters of this material that's on this object. So let's say I want to go down here to the color and I want to change the color to be from, like, let's say white to black. And there we go. Now, or like maybe like a dark gray. So I can change now the colors of it. Yep, you can suck up the material. Yep, it's pretty great. And now since it's like that, now it's not as bright anymore and I like it like that. I can save this object now to my inventory. So now I just showed you how to do out a texture, just a quick color change. You can also put on images over this main texture. So let me try to import like this sky JPEG thing. So like, let's say if I import this texture, I can actually grip it and move it over the main texture. And it's just going to apply that. So you see how the texture now applied that over there, and I can clear it, grip, place it over, and it's going to apply it to that. So that's how you would add on textures, add on stuff. Hey Jace, welcome. Now, once you have your model all set up, ready to go, and you have an account and you're wanting to save this as an item, it's very easy to save it. You can also even export it as well. If you've done some modifications here inside of Neos, you can export the model back out on your computer just by gripping on this and hitting the green plus sign for whatever folder directory that you want. So if I gripped onto this, hit green plus sign, it's going to allow me to export this object as a DAE, OBJ, PLY, FBX, STL, all these different options, and just be sure to name it as well. So it'll go like DDD. And then, yeah. So you can export if you want, or if you want to save it to your inventory, we'll have this in a special folder. We'll put it in the edu folder. And let's say if I want to save this now, I just grip it, hit the green plus sign, And now it is added to my inventory to spawn out as many times as I want.
You should show them how you create a folder in the first place.
Yeah, I'm going to show that as well. So to create a new folder, what you do is you just hit the green plus sign without holding on to anything. And then I can now create a new directory. So I can go U and then click create. And now I have a new folder to put in different stuff. And I could respawn this back out, put this in now the new folder, and do everything like that. So it's a really nice little option. Also, if you want to delete a folder, you'd select it and hit this trash can icon up here. And that's going to get rid of any new folders or even any items that you have. So like, let's say I don't want to keep this item in here. I can just hit the trash can icon. Boop. Now it's gone. Another interesting about folders and items inside through your inventory, if you want to make a public folder, like let's say if I wanted a public folder of this edu folder, what I would do is I would select the edu folder, right? And I would hit this post-it icon or this little envelope icon. And then what that's going to do is it's going to give me this item that I can give to somebody else, and it's going to save on their performance of or their storage of their items, because you can have lots of items inside here on one person's storage, and they can all share it and have it simultaneously spawned out through this one folder, which is really nice. So you can basically give away folders that would have avatars in them, worlds inside of them, items that have cool interactability. You could just hand them this folder and it has all the content inside there that they can save. So another nice thing. And if you ever want to delete items as well, or duplicate them, you just go up to your hand menu, pull trigger for duplicating out an object, or if you want to delete it, pull trigger over delete, like so.
And if someone updates something in that public folder, it'll update for everyone else who has that folder. So that's another nice thing that happens.
Yeah. Okay, so that kind of goes over a little bit how to import stuff and how to get just regular models inside of here, as well as how to texture and how to set up new folders and how to save stuff to your folders. Thank you, Heaven. I'm glad you're liking the new UI for the hand menus. There's a lot more to come. Frox is working very hard on it. Now, what we can get into that I'm sure you guys are going to be very interested in, we're going to be getting into how to import an avatar and how to start setting it up as a rig, which isn't as complex as you think. Okay, so I'm going to import a character now. And we're going to go to assets. So actually, let me show you guys what I'm doing out right here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going inside of my Unity project file. And this is for most people who have used VRC before. Most of the time, they will have a Unity project file for their avatar. You just locate the Unity project file that's inside of your computer file. You can also put into a folder such as called Neos or whatever you'd like. And let's go to where it says the... there's something else here. I don't want to import something bad. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Maybe a volley 2019. Yeah, we'll just do that one. And then we'll go reverse a volley. And right here, you can see the FBX is right here, right? Next one, I love your face. I have to dip out and enjoy the rest of the streaming. Okay, for sure, Heshin.
Take care.
So I'm going to import this model now. Loogie, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for that. So I'm going to import this out real quick. We'll do FBX, and always this part is very important when importing an avatar. Just so you guys know, you're going to go 3D model, regular, auto humanoid height, always auto humanoid height, never anything else, auto humanoid height, and then import now. And as well as if you want to do the advanced settings for flatlit tune, if your character uses flatlit tune, you can do that. But I'd recommend just changing the materials in here. Why not? So let's go import now. And as it's importing, it's going to be converting out the blend shapes, and it's going to take some time before the model actually appears. Once it's fully loaded and done, that spinning icon is going to go away, and then you'll see your avatar T-posed out. Now, if there's no materials, don't worry, because you can grab your materials out of your folder and just import them through. So I can grab out my material right here, and I can just paste it onto the model if I so choose, and I can do stuff like that. But we're not going to do texturing quite yet. We're first wanting to set this up as an avatar. So let me zoom out my camera so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let me just check up on chat, make sure you guys are doing good. Cool. You guys are fine. So for the avatar, I'm going to close down my file browser. We don't need that anymore. You're going to open up your belt UI. You're going to go to Tools, Avatar Creator, and then you're going to get this option for this creation tool. And what this is going to allow for is, let me just switch to fly locomotion. So how you switch locomotions is you press on your menu button, go down here, and I can now switch it down to be fly. And as I'm flying, I can see the different options that I have here. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to move the head and place it relatively around outside the front part of the head. So you guys can see I'm going to place it right there for the eyes, as close as you can get to possible. And these references, these little orbs that are inside, are going to be your eyeballs. So you don't want those to be past the model's reference point. And now I'm going to take these hands. They're going to always keep symmetry, because your model should always be T-posed and symmetrical. There's not any avatar that you should import that should not be symmetrical. So always keep symmetry every single time. Now that those hands are on there, you might be thinking, oh, well, how am I going to get them aligned? How am I going to get it organized? It's not straight. I have that for you. So all you have to do is you click Align Head Forward, Align Head Up, Align Head Right, Center the Head Position, and Align Tool Anchors. What that's going to do is now it's perfectly symmetrical on the model. So all I had to do is Align Head Forward, Align Head Up, Align Head Right, Center Head Position, and Align Tool Anchors. Do not click Try Align Hands. That never works. Never click Try Align Hands. And then now we can set up the volume meter, make sure to have that check marked, and make sure to also have the show tool anchors to be check marked as well. What that's going to do is I can now have these extra options that are going to allow me to put on the grip sphere. So the grip sphere is the sphere at which you can grab other models and grab other interactive objects. So I'm going to put the grip sphere on the palm. I'm going to move the hand menu, so it's right here. It really doesn't matter where hand menus go since it's gotten changed around. And then you can move this tip to be right on the front part of your finger. And now, since all that is set up, the very final thing that you can do, and this is a choice thing, you can either protect the avatar to make it so then no other user can get into this avatar. But for this one, it's fine to have it as an open model, so we won't have it protected. And then we'll just hit create. And that's how easy it is to set up an avatar, and I'll just hop right into it. And we can see over here inside of like the mirror, it already sets up the visemes and everything for you, including the eye blinking. And yeah, and just be sure that your naming convention, that you're always using the proper naming convention. We have it on our Neosphere wiki under frequently asked questions as to what naming convention the rig should be. But yep, that's how you do that. And this one doesn't have the right naming convention for the hands, so it's not that great of an example. But if you have the right naming convention for the hands, that your hands will also move and be set up as well. So it's quite easy to set up an avatar inside of here. And then you can just save this as well. There's another additional option to saving avatars. Let's say if I want to save this one, all I would have to do is hit the blue down button, and I can save the avatar that I'm in. So, and there it is right there highlighted, and I can just delete that since I don't need it. Now let's say if I wanted to start texturing this guy up. So let me...
Question, actually.
What's your question, Zenny?
You said you could only import models with T-pose. What about A-pose? Is that not supported?
A-pose is fine as well, as long as the model is symmetrical. You just want the model to be symmetrical. So let me get into my robot guy real quick. So let's say, for example, I want to open up this character. Wait, Wilka says, wait, what is the thing you're doing now? Still importing an avatar? Yep, we were just importing an avatar. Yep. Yeah, if you will get errors if you don't have the right naming convention for the bones. So be sure that your naming convention for the bones is always right, and that's on our wiki. Let me turn off that mirror. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to use these two tools. The dev tooltip is right here inside of your inside your essential tools, and the material tooltip is right there. I'm going to need both of these to start editing the material on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all by equipping the dev tooltip first, and then highlighting it by pressing down my touchpad. I'm going to open through the inspector. So I'm going to open inspector. And now when I have this inspector open, I can click on this one, which is going to go up the hierarchy of the model. And then I'm going to go down to where the body's at. Now, when I'm at the body, I just equip my material tool. I grip where the body's out. So I'm actually grabbing and pulling off the text. And then now I'm going to press down on my secondary again, or my touchpad or my joystick, whatever it may be for each controller. And then that's going to give me all of the materials for the whole character. And now I don't need that anymore. I can just slot these materials in right here, and I can start editing the materials. So let's say if I want this one to be like red, that's the eye color. So you see how it's changing at real time right there. And you can apply whatever albino texture that you want, the height maps, your normals, all that good stuff over on these sections right here, similarly to like how you would in Unity. So are there any questions with that in chat? Are you good?
You love me. You really love me.
Peace to you, HSF. Peace to you, dude. Love you as well. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So that kind of covers a little, like a short clip of like how.
Shaders?
What about shaders? Yeah. So the different shader types are all inside of your material tool. So what you do with that is you would equip your material tool, make sure nothing is inside of it, and then you'd open it up and go to create new. And all these shader types are at your exposal. We have the ZXZ tune, we have the PBS metallic, PBS specular, fur, flatlit tune, all the different filter ones, skyboxes, special ones, unlit ones.
No custom ones? Like if I have my own shader?
You can import a shader that's from Unity if that's what you're asking.
Good.
It's only shaders that are right here on this listing that you'd be able to use for right now. But we have planned out to have more shaders supported, as well as a possible custom shader support as when we have a better importer for the Unity SDK. So it's kind of a wait on that one. Is there an option to do all this editing outside of VR, or do you have to be in Neos? So right now you have to be inside of Neos to do this level of editing, but that's what I was just explaining before. We're eventually, in the further date, we're going to be able to have a better desktop mode. This desktop mode is going to allow you to be able to edit stuff while on your desktop, while still using Neos, or we might even have a better option for Unity. I don't think that we're ever going to be having an avatar creation thing for Unity, but we will have better import options, such as for shaders, such as for different stuff for Unity eventually, same with terrains and all that kind of good stuff later on. But for right now, it's strictly making characters and stuff using just Neos, at least for avatars. You can still import Unity scenes, but it's not as full-fledged. But for the avatars that you're having inside of here right now, I think what would be a good option later on, once we start working on the desktop support, we could have a way where you can start setting up avatars on desktop mode, which would be quite nice. Avatars will be supported too once there's a proper Unity SDK, but certainly that's not a priority. Yeah, exactly. Because character, I 100% know that whatever avatar that you need set up inside of here, if you don't have VR yourself or you are not sure how to set it up, there will be somebody who will be able to set up your character in less than 5 minutes, and it'll be very easy. And we have a lot of people inside of here willing to help with, I personally will help with anybody's character as long as they just want 1 or 2 avatars set up, and I can help them with their avatars. And they're not like those Miku models that have like 60 materials. Then I'll be good on that one. But, yeah, it's very easy to set. You saw right there, I was able to import this model in less than 5 minutes and start already working on the materials and working on stuff. If you need 20 avatars to set up little Pikachu, I highly doubt that, because you just rocking a Pikachu every single time I see you. Oh, you need all 150 Pokemon. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Give me a Magnemite. I need a Magnemite.
Okay. Before I go on to the next part of my session of teaching on how to do stuff for new users or frequently asked questions. Yeah, Wilco, yeah, I can definitely help you. And yes, you're the best as well. Before we go on, for me teaching off basically frequently asked questions on how to do stuff inside of Neos, or maybe even you guys reminding me of stuff that needs to be talked about inside through the chat, I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to just sit back and answer any questions that you guys might have in here, or just have me do something that I can hopefully help. If it's your first time watching stuff inside of Neos, or you don't know how to do something, I can demonstrate it here live inside of here. So I'm going to take just a couple minutes just to do that, and then I'll get back on to my next thing that I was going to do, such as teaching about how to navigate to new worlds and all that kind of stuff, meaning how to create new worlds and how to import the worlds as well. Make sure you explain where the audio input is so many people enter being lost on that basic. Also explain other things. Very good point, Little Pikachu. Very, very good point. So another thing as a new user when you come inside of Neos is it'll, for whatever reason, not use your VR microphone. It'll set up, because usually your default microphone isn't your VR mic. It's usually some other microphone as your default mic. So what you're wanting to do is with that, when you first start up Neos and you notice that nobody is able to hear your voice, you're going to go to settings, and where it says right here, audio input device, you're going to set that to your VR headset microphone. So right now I have my digital audio interface Valve VR radio and HMD mic. So that's my proper one. Sometimes you have the misproper one. So you just want to change that in the settings when you're a brand new user. So keep that in mind. Good catch there, Little Pikachu, because that is a common thing. As a new user will come in, they're using the wrong mic and they can't talk with anybody, and they're like, what the heck's going on? Very easy fix. Just go to settings and change your audio input device. And explaining other settings. Okay, so another thing that actually is a common thing. Dante Yeen, thank you for the tier 1 subscription. Love you. Another thing about these options and settings that I really love, we have use head direction for movement. That's very good for people who are used to the movement inside of VRC, because you're using your head to move around instead of your hands. You also have allow smooth churning, which some people like smooth churning. If you want to set your settings to enabling out smooth churn mode through this check mark, or most people also like sitting down while using VR. If you want to sit down using VR, be sure to type in your height right here. So mine's 165 centimeters. And then you can click maintain seated height mode. What that's going to do is it's going to make it so then if you look at my avatar right now, I have seated height mode on right now and I'm standing up. But if I try to go down like I'm sitting, it's going to move it to where I'm like standing up again. So no matter where I'm going, it's going to keep me aligned up when I'm in seated height mode. So that's another important thing. Techno, thank you for the follow as well. So those are like little options. And obviously a lot of the stuff, including audio settings, a lot of this is going to be completely redesigned. So I don't want to go too much into it, but the categories such as audio and your inputs and character height and movement styles, they're all going to be different tabs within the settings. So they're not going to be all cluttered out around this. Plus there'll be even more additional settings too, added as a feature. Cool. Also the mute and unmute ball hand thing, that's changing. Yes. So this Zelioth TF, thank you, or Zelio TF. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Thank you for the follow, man. You can also specify your height and feet. Yes, you can specify your height and feet. If you go to settings and just want to change it from centimeters to imperial to feet, you just click on that one. So mine's like 5'5", but I'm not actually 5'5". I think I'm like, 5'10", something like that. So it's 5 inches off, but whatever. So with your hand menu, only certain controllers have this, by the way, which is why this is being changed out and changed around. But if you press down on your bottom button on either your index controller or your Oculus controller, or even clicking on, usually there's like little orbs here by your wrist, you can open up this little hand menu. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to go into all the different worlds that you want inside of Neos. So inside of Neos, you can be in multiple worlds at the same time. You can also switch your audio as well. So I can switch to broadcast. Broadcast is going to make it so then everyone in the world will be able to hear my voice. Shout will make it so almost everyone will be able to hear my voice in the world. It'll just be extra loud and it'll go out a farther distance, so it still stays 3D. This one's more like 2D audio. Normal is just normal talking. Whisper, it puts a bubble around my character, so then anyone in the bubble can only hear me. And mute, obviously, it mutes me, so then nobody can hear me. Be careful not to click the ball orbs accidentally, people. Yeah, so you can accidentally click on these orbs. And also another common question that I get asked is, how do you close these worlds? So how you close a world orb is you just aim at the bubble and hold down trigger for 3 seconds, and it pops the bubble, just like that. And then that's how you can close out of other worlds. And if you want to switch between the worlds, you just pull trigger. Swaps me now back to my local world. I'm nice, running smooth at 144 frames, feels good. And then I can just go back to this world that has 11 people just by clicking at pull trigger. There you go, and now I'm back in this world. So very quick and seamless integration of being able to hop in and out in between worlds, which makes it quite nice, I'd say. It makes Neos probably the most unique VR social platform, the fact that you can be in multiple worlds at the same time. Where did Aegis go? Aegis.
Oh no.
Could you show as an example as to how it looks like when you leave a world? So leave the world real quick, and you'll see his avatar will become clear, just like that. So if you're not in a body in an avatar and you didn't really, yeah, you'll just end up looking like that. Yep. Also, there is an additional option called the physical mode. I don't recommend new users using that though, because it's very confusing since it actually removes your lasers, and I wouldn't recommend being in physical mode. I would recommend always keeping physical mode off. The only time that you would want physical mode on is if you don't want to grab anything with your lasers and if you don't want to scale your avatar, which that's another important thing to new users to know. Inside of Neos, you can scale your avatar to whatever height. If you press both grip buttons on your controller, so both grip buttons are being held down right now, you can press both grip buttons down, and then you can scale yourself down to be very small or very big, like so. So that's another motion option. So pressing down both grip buttons, scaling outwards to go smaller, inwards to go bigwards. In big, out small. It's a good idea not to have too many worlds open at once, though. It'll eat up your performance. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend more than 5 worlds open at a time. But that's going to be even more improved out. Yep. Cool. Yep. Zinni's already got it. He's got the right idea. Cool. I think that this is going pretty far, and let me see how much time we got on the clock. Cool. So we got around another 30 minutes that we can do this, because we're only going to keep this to 1 hour and 30 to 2 hours for teaching out just beginner stuff. Let me now get into our next topic, and then we can do more questions afterwards. So on your belt UI, obviously there's a whole bunch of different stuff, and we'll be covering over a lot of this inside of our next week's thing, as well as recovering up the same stuff over and over and over again for the most part, because people will probably be having the same questions. Under the sessions tab, I remember telling you guys about this before, how you can set the world to be invite or friends only, or even set stuff like auto kick, which is quite nice. If somebody becomes AFK in your world, you can just click and have that as an option. So then it kicks them after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever you want to set it to. You can also set the maximum of users here. Another awesome thing is you can get session orbs, world orbs, copy the session URL, copy the world URL, or copy the record URL. Now, a really important one that I like to use a lot is getting the world orb. So if I click get world orb, it's going to give me the orb of this world that I could add to my inventory. And, this could be a way that I could favorite worlds or such as that. Or just have access to give other people what world is this? You can just say, oh, just get the world orb. You can also get the session orb, and what getting the session orb is, it's basically getting this session to where if somebody else in another world clicked on this, it would be like a portal that would direct them to this world for a session orb. And then to get the copy session URL, this one is very important, because right when you do that, you can select something and then paste it, and then it's going to give you this URL. And what this URL does is you can actually paste this URL into any messaging thing, and you can actually have it directly link out to make it so then if they had Neos installed, they'd automatically end up in this world. So they would click that link, they'd pop here inside this world, and then they wouldn't have to open up anything. They would just click the link and have Neos installed, and that's it. So another really great, helpful thing. So Sandy says, auto kick AFK users means users are in other worlds. Yes. It means that they're in another world. So if they're in another world, Sandy, they're going to be kicked. But if they're still in the world and they just have their VR headset taken off, it's not going to register as that. So if they're in the world, then they're still here. But if they're out of the world, then it's going to count as an AFK kick. Good point. Another thing off of sessions is you have the users tab. Very important, because this is where you can have a level of moderation. You can ban a user from the world, kick the user from the world, respawn the user, jump to the person, or mute the person, whatever you'd like to do. So like, let me say if I want to jump to Aegis right now, I could click jump. And right now I'm in front of him and I jump to him. So nice little options. Yep, jump is an amazing option. I think every new user should know about it, because we don't have this option in a lot of other VR platforms. And being able to teleport directly into a person that's far away off the world, let's say you want to just jump to your friend real quick, you can have the option to do that. So very important thing. Another incredibly important thing about the system that we have set in place here for the sessions tab is the permissions. So permissions is everything that you see right here. An admin has the ability not only to build inside the world, but they have the ability to kick and also save the world and make any edits that they want upon the world. So I could make any edits that I want and save this version of the world if I wanted to as an admin. I could even set other people as admin as well, so they could save their own versions of the world. So basically, admin means saving. Builder is everything that admin has except without saving. Moderator is everything. You can't do stuff like equipping building tools, but you can still spawn stuff and you can still kick people out. Guest, you can't kick any people out, but you can still spawn in items. And spectator, you can't do anything. You can only look. You can only view and watch, and same with talking. So you can only talk and view as being a spectator. And you can set and you can change those permissions to be whatever you want for each user, as long as you're the admin and the host. So quite nice. Sorry, I missed it, but does jump go to other worlds or only the world I'm in? Jump only goes to the world that you're in. So like, let's say if I want to jump to Aegis, I click jump and I jumped directly in front of him. I could even be all the way out over here, flying out all the way over here, and then I'm going to click jump to Aegis. And I'm back over to him right where he's at. Uh-huh. So that's all that the jump user thing does, and it's quite nice. It's just so then you can clear the distance to get to your friends quickly. And this is all the permission stuff. So that's everything for the most part about session. And remember, all this stuff is going to be, for the most part, redone and made a lot better and even more additional options as time goes on. But that's why I'm doing these Wednesday streams, so then you guys know what new content, what new stuff is done out for it, as well so the new users can go back to this and actually see, oh, this is how I do this. And if I'm going a little bit too fast, I'm sorry about that. I just really want to cover, there's quite a lot of things to cover, and I just want to be sure that a lot of the things gets spoken out. So if I am talking fast, just let me know, and I can slow down a little bit. If not, and I sound fine and good, then I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Another thing about the belt UI is you have obviously the leaving world, the saving of the world, and a new world option. So these three buttons are very important for, let's say if I just want to leave and I don't want to be in this world anymore, I'm not going to click that obviously. Or if I want to save any edits that I want to the world, I can click save as or save a copy, and that's going to give me a new world orb that I can have in my inventory of a new option. And the new world is pretty nice because this is how you just start up from a scratch world. The one I recommend using all the time is grid space. So if you highlight, select, go over grid space, there's also a whole bunch of different ones that you can check out, but we'll just go to this one real quick. So I can go grid space, and let's say if I just want to be in private, I can set it to invite only and click start session. And now I am inside of my own grid space world that you can see, and I can start spawning in objects. I can start spawning in, different stuff that I want to use. Let's say if I want to spawn out a giant trampoline, I could just grab this, move this out, and to scale an item, an object, all I'm doing is I'm gripping it and then gripping it with my other hand and scaling it. So it's very intuitive to start scaling out objects, and then I can just place that down, and now I have a bouncy trampoline in this scene. I can bounce around on it. There we go. And explode panda. I think that's probably going to happen inside the other world. I won't be able to see it. But yeah, having a grid space, and obviously once you make all your changes that you want, it's as simple as just going down, hitting save, and click save as. That's it. So once you make all the changes and you work on the world and you make stuff like how you want it to be, you just click Save As, and that's how you create your own world. And then you're left with the world orb that you can add to your inventory. I don't know if this makes sense. I don't know anything about Unity, but can you spawn in water? I want to make an ocean world. Yes, you can make different spawn areas, and I can actually show that to you real fast. So with your dev tooltip, you're going to be using, if any, the most important tools that I will say that you will be ever using when making world building is going to be your character collider setter tip, your grabbable setter tip, your material tip, and your dev tooltip. Those 4 tools are going to be the main tools that you'll need for world building. And if you're wanting to get into more complex stuff, also logics. So let's get our dev tooltip. What we're going to do is to create a spawn area. I'm going to first click out of that because we don't want that open. I'm going to go to create new. So it's going to be like the little star icon. And then I'm going to be going to object, spawn area, not spawn point, spawn area. Spawn point, you'd never want spawn point. Just don't click it. You just always want spawn area. Okay. Spawn area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stretch it and shrink it down so the spawn area isn't this big. So what I did was I clicked on these little gizmos that I have right here, and I can select it to stretch. And I'm going to hold down trigger and go inwards. Trigger inwards, trigger inwards, trigger inwards. And we're going to make the spawn area around this big. And I'm going to move it. Pendo, thank you so much for that Twitch Prime subscription. And now I can click on the gizmo and rotate this and move this around where I want. So like, let's say if I wanted people to spawn out directly on top of the trampoline, I can do that. Let me switch to fly real quick. And we'll make it so then people would spawn directly on top of the trampoline. You can also, if you don't want this visual effect, you can open the inspector for the spawn area and go to the visual for it and disable the mesh render, and you can make it invisible by disabling the mesh render on both the visual and the cylinder, and that makes it completely invisible, so then nobody can see it, which I prefer it that way because then it leaves like this big glowing line, and then, you know, it doesn't, you know. But now that's where users would spawn. So if I actually respawned my avatar right now, it's going to set me right over here. So that's how you make a spawn point. Pretty easy. Let's go back to the next other world.
The host is in
It doesn't,
He's
it
back.
doesn't work differently. It all follows the same laws. It's just that it's the
Cool.
stretching of the space and the time and the way it curves around it.
There we go. Go Whisper Bubble. Go Whisper Bubble. Thanks. Cool. So that's kind of like showing off how to create a new world, how to also, you can just click on save and it will have it as a world orb. And just so you all know, we're not going to be covering on how to upload worlds just yet. We'll probably be getting that into like a farther conversation. But if you ever do want to upload a world, you will need to go to Neos Essentials, and you will be going to this thing, the submitter. You double click on that, and then you'd place your world orb right inside of there and hit submit. And then once you do that, it's going to be uploaded as a world into the main cloud. And just be sure to keep whatever that you're uploading as appropriate content. If it's stuff that is meant to be in private, keep it in private, because you can still have worlds be completely private. These ones are more for so that everyone has access to them, and it's not an M-rated game. It's a game that even you know, younger people can be inside here. So just try to be mindful about what content that you upload. So thank you for that, you guys. Okay, let's. Hey. Nice to see. We got quite a lot of people in here, which is really cool. Lots of different peeps. And hey, Evan, nice to see you as well. Hello, hello, hello. If you want water, you can spawn a water object or texture material or something and do magical Neos editing from there. Yep, and actually what's being worked on is Aegis is creating out some really amazing water effects here inside of Neos. Those water effects that he's making out are going to eventually be public when he's done with it, and it has splashing water and really realistic water effects that I think a lot of people can make a lot of use for a lot of water maps or underwater worlds. And here even has the underwater sound effects, so, and splashing effect, which I think is so amazing. And all built within Neos, by the way. All done out, all the logics and all the stuff within Neos, which is
videos
great.
on it.
Yeah. Heck, probably even when Aegis is finished with the thing, he can show it off during these types of streams. Okay, I will tinker with that. I literally just learned today about those tips like dev and material, so I will need spend time planning. Yeah, Yeah. And I'm so glad that I always like, if this stream helps at least one person with learning something, it's worth it in my opinion. If it helps one person. So if you already feel like you've been helped and you feel like you've learned something today, I'm Wilco, then this stream has already done exactly what I've needed to do. And hopefully that's the case for a few other people inside here, that they learned something new today. And you know, there's going to be so much more added in with this whole new UI stuff that's being revamped, that I'm probably going to be having to re-go over some of the same stuff, and it's going to be probably by that point completely different, but a lot better as well. Yeah. I don't know what that means. Aegis will always be thirsty. But maybe like, cause he has to go get something to drink. Yeah, probably. Another thing that new users can also mess around with if it's their first time, I'd recommend going inside of the gadgets folder, and we have a lot of cool content that's been made out using our scripting system, which is Logix. We'll probably get into Logix tutorials at a later date as well. We'll probably have some special guest people on here to teach about Logix and how to do stuff with Logix and simplistics if people are interested in that. But this is just beginner basic stuff that you can learn how to spawn out an object. So to let's say if you want to spawn out, like, you know, everybody knows like the little volley puppet, I can grab onto this and hold trigger and it can, you know, do that. It also is jiggling around it right now. I don't know why. It's like, you can hear it a little bit. But you can also equip stuff by the same way that you would do a dev tooltip, and I can, you know, move it around the head.
Actually, that means it probably did work.
So you can have these really amazing interactive items. It even has dynamic bones on it. But there's a bunch of content within this gadgets folder that you can mess around with and actually get quite an idea of why it's so cool about making cool items here within Neos. And, you know, just building out this cool content so then other users can have, so then it can hopefully inspire you guys if it's your first time to try to make out your own stuff. Like, let's say, oh, you know, I'm a really big fan of Iron Man, so I want to have like some cool Iron Man stuff, or I'm a really big fan of Star Wars, I could start making some lightsabers, and already people have done stuff like that. Is the browser UI being redesigned soon? Yes, everything is being redesigned. The whole UI is being completely redesigned. The beats beneath. Yeah, just like how today we have our early version of our new hand menus. Our hand menus are brand new. You can see that right there. Let me actually zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see it better. You can see how it's really nice because whatever that you highlight over it, it shows the middle icon in the center. You can also press trigger on this and move this around and just like go down like that. And you can do it like a snap point. See, just like that. So I can reset world scale and just like that. It's nice new little features, and it's still being heavily worked on. Yep, hand menus, let's go. It's looking great. Imoka says, okay, I gotta go building a solar panel array, but this was super helpful and I love you all. I will be trying to stream my own learning sessions, and hopefully that will get even more users into Neos because y'all are amazing. Peace. Peace to you. I am Wilco. I'm glad that this helped you out. I'm hopefully helped out other people. So I'm gonna take this small amount of time as well. Hopefully there's going to be just some final questions that we might have in chat, because we're going to be ending off the stream in about 15 minutes. Also, if there's any people who have questions here as well that might have joined inside the world that need to know something, I am more than willing to answer any and all questions. And then after that, I will be bidding you all adieu. Do you and you and you. But I'll be inside of Neos if you need help, obviously, as well, and you can always add me as a friend. Can you save a headless orb? No. You cannot save a headless orb because a headless orb is acting as a level of content that is kind of off the session thing, but the one thing that is going to be done is all headless sessions are going to be on the new directory for the world browser. So once we get that going as our new feature list for the browsing experience for a world browser, we're going to make it so then you'll be able to see all the active sessions, see all the headless sessions, and also set events on the world browser tab. So it won't be orbs anymore that you have to search and look through. It'll all just be very nice and organized and listed. So I think it's not even a good idea to work on being able to save headless orbs, because the whole headless and whole entering world thing is going to be switched out quite soon. So, because that's one of the top major things that I think really needs to be done out on the UI. The first thing, like once we start getting the dash in the facet system, that should be the first feature worked on, is the world browsing. Yep, better world menu, better finding actual users online, better actually knowing what the difference between headless servers are and active sessions and just worlds that you would open on your own, as well as setting up events. Because I think stuff like this, I could easily have set up an event for this, and you could set like an option where you could register and pre-register for the event. So then I wouldn't have just random people coming inside of here. I would have people who were actually wanting to be in the event, who signed up for the event to be inside of here. So stuff like that. Like events are going to be so big here inside of Neos, and being able to set them up manually inside of here without having to set them up in Discord or something like that, it's going to be much better. But yes, please comment in the Twitch chat, you guys, if you need any more beginner help, or if there's any beginners here inside of here that want to know something or was having a problem with something. That's what this stream is for, just here to help out you guys, and that's all that this is for, is just to make sure that you guys have that, because those were my main talking points, so then people who are new users would know what to do, and then they can start being in a character and start socializing and having fun inside of here, and even asking around with people who are in here, and having them help you out as well, because people are quite nice in this community. And somebody actually gave me this idea from our last Friday streams about having a stream for Wednesdays, other than our Friday streams, which we normally usually just talk about additional updates that we're going to be doing, as well as just fun stuff. It's mostly just for entertainment. A lot of it's entertainment purposes. This is for mostly helping users. Envy Hunter, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Heaven and Envy Hunter, and everyone else who's given a gifted sub today, as well as subscribed. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for that. Very, very kind of you. Thank you, Envy Hunter. Thank you. Back, head churning in VR. Nice. Okay, cool. We got a question. Jezda159 says, I'm having an issue with saving avatars from Avatar Creator to inventory so I can set it up on myself from desktop. Saving the avatar from the Avatar Creator to the inventory. So you would first have to set up the avatar. And if you're on desktop mode, what I would suggest is you're going to have to grip the model. It's a little bit finicky and weird. You're going to have to like grip it and move it over the green plus sign and select it. And then once you have it as the avatar that you want, you got to select it in your inventory and then hit the heart button and the lightning bolt to equip it. And if you want to save the avatar that you're in, you can also hit the blue down button. That will also, that'll also save it as well. Actually, let me visually show you that out. So if I have this avatar that you can see that I'm in right now, I can hit the blue down button, and that's going to save the character that I currently have equipped. And if I select that and hit the heart, it's going to make it my default. If I hit the lightning bolt, that just equips it. So hopefully that answers that question. My controller's ended wet by the stress. Oh no, Heaven. That's no good. Yep. It's not grab and drop. It's not grab and drag. It's you hit the green plus sign. So let's say, let's pretend that this is an avatar. Okay. We'll pretend that this is an avatar. I'm going to grab it and then hit the green plus sign. So I'm grabbing the avatar, hitting the green plus sign, and that's another way to add it. Or you can go inside of the avatar and hit the blue down button, and then that will add it inside your inventory as well. So that's how you can save avatars and save items and anything that you want. But the blue down button is only for avatars, which those icons are going to be switched about. So more I do VR, so more relaxed I will be, I guess, and I hope. Yeah, it takes time to get more comfortable with VR. If you are in desktop mode to save stuff, is Control S or something. Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah. Desktop mode obviously is going to be having a full redesign starting at probably around August. Probably late August is when we're going to be starting to work on like a desktop mode, I would imagine. Which a new desktop mode would be great because I could just pull off my VR headset and it would immediately switch my character into like an animation, and then I could like move around and jump and do all that fun stuff. So it'll be nice to have it to where we'll be having our active users who will be on desktop and our and our VR users in VR. Yeah, we gotta work hard, Evan. Like, that's the name of this game. We want to be the best metaverse in a couple years' time, and best way to do that is work. That's okay. Because I would much rather do this kind of work than working for a company that's just wanting to do it for money. I'd much rather do it because the amount of passion and the amount of people who are caring about this project is, to me, well more priceless and valuable than just working for some sort of game company that is soulless. This has even more than just a little bit of soul. It has a lot of soul. Can we stop calling desktop mode screen mode? That bothers me. Yeah, desktop and screen mode are two different things on our feature list, because the desktop mode is going to be better desktop user experience, and the screen mode is going to be actually you can see your desktop screen in VR and then access that. So you'd be able to have your computer desktop, and other users in the same world would be able to see your computer desktop while in VR, similar as like a screen share mode. So that's what screen mode is, and then desktop mode is the stuff so then people that don't have a VR headset or just choose to not be in their VR headset can do it on desktop mode. Because right now it's not a fully implemented thing. Well, it is implemented, it just isn't as good as the VR experience. Yep, and the keybinds for the desktop is on the wiki, the Neosphere wiki. You, Frox, and the others are already showing the love you have for this project, and it's what makes me believe and trust all of you. Aw, thanks, Evan. Love you, Evan. Okay, so let me see what time we got on the thing. So we got 7 more minutes. Oh, yeah, on the wiki, the shortcuts are all on the screen mode. Yep, and Lil Pikachu linked it. Okay, so on to Distro says, perhaps you already answered this, which is fine. I do not mind re-answering multiple questions. That's the name of the game with this stuff. So if it's a thing that I already have discussed out before, please don't be afraid to re-ask it, because I want to answer it. So I have just become comfortable with learning the older UI for the new wrist menus, etc. Is there a new learning curve for the updated UI, or is it quite easy to transfer over? P.S. This is Ideatron NES. I would say it's very easy to learn. I would say that it's actually more intuitive once you get a hang of it. And I would say it's, yeah, I know what you meant. I would say that it's much easier to use and it's fun. Like, I actually noticed sometimes, like with the old hand menu, I'd always want it off my wrist. This one, I actually like keeping it open and just like messing around with like this thing. I kind of use it almost like as a fidget spinner sometimes, and just kind of like go like that while I'm messing around. And I can also pull and trigger this and then activate it that way, or I can just directly pull trigger on this, and the icons are much bigger. Before, I had to like squint sometimes to see if I was on the right one, or sometimes I'd accidentally duplicate when I meant to delete an object. It's very to the core. So like if I want to, let's say I had this object right here, I can grip this, open up my hand menu, and very easy to delete it. I don't have to double press trigger to delete something now. I can just one press. So it's a lot more intuitive, and the hand menu also disappears when you go far away from it. So if I'm moving my hand away from it, it just automatically disappears, which is going to be so much easier for new users. And I promise you, you will already start having a really good time with this hand menu in the way that it is. It just is about muscle memory. So if you give this about like a week, and we're going to be making even more updates to it to make it even feel much better, I think you'll really like it. Prox says, earlier today we did a lecture with Peck at the Czech Republic's Technical University in Prague. I was worried that he'd have problems because he always takes time to learn things and when something's new or changed, but he adapted to it immediately. The original menus had trouble using even after months of experience sometimes. So yeah, in my opinion, without a doubt, this is an incredible improvement, and it's very similar to our last UI, our hand directional movement, but now instead of you having to rotate and twist your hand, now it's as simple as just point and click. Point and click. Much easier. So, okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Next Little Pikachu Heaven and Prox. No problem. Glad to help. And we're going to be talking about this new UI hand menu once we have new icons on it on Friday, as well as once we have a little bit more stuff done out with it. And we'll be talking about our next step, which is going to be the new grabbing features and how things are going to be able to be interactable within Neos and how you're going to grip on how the lasers are going to operate. UI can be scaled, yes. So if I want to grab onto this UI, I can grip this and grip that. And you can see I can make the UI as big as I want. So yeah, you can scale the UI. Unless you're talking about this one. This one, I'm not sure. Maybe in the future, probably. We probably will be able to make it so then this could be not scalable in that way, but scalable as an option. Like we'll put it under UI options under the settings or something like that. Once we add in edit options, so then people can have what they want. The new hand menu is really intuitive. I agree. I think that this is going to be so much easier for new users, and they're not going to have their hands stuck when they're trying to move around, and it looks cool too. Like it looks like something that you see off of like Sword Art Online or something like that. It looks awesome. Hand UI can probably, I know the old Apple Watch was able to be called and edited on avatars. Yep. Heaven says it was more easy for me too. Perfect. So it's already establishing a job, and it's now with the new features that we're planning out for our Dash UI, you'll be able to even easily switch worlds, find new users, IM people, organize your inventory. We have a lot planned going out for this UI overhaul, and I think you guys are going to realize it's not just going to be good for new users, but specifically for our veteran users and people who have been supporting us on Patreon and people who have been supporting us. They're going to be getting what they want as well. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you guys too. Sandy Sensei says, with the wrist menus, I had issues that it was scaled quite big. If the avatar I created is small to begin with, really weird stuff. Haven't tried it with the new one yet. Yeah, you're going to like the new one. I think you really will like how but it's not finished yet. It's not fully finished. It still needs the new icons and it still needs the new stuff. And did somebody turn off the barn? Okay. That's okay. They undid it. So that's about it. If there's not any last minute questions, we'll be ending off the stream. Just wanted to remind everyone, if you enjoy these streams, please, follow us here, as well as thank you again for everyone who gave out a gifted sub today. And please let your friends know about Neos VR. We also have a Discord, discord.gg/NeosVR, which is also under our Twitch link channel. Please be sure to join that if you need any help or have any questions about Neos. And if you have already played Neos and enjoy it, be sure to give us a review on Steam. That also helps us to have more users find out about it, and it gives us a good light so then more users can be like, oh, what's this thing? And they're seeing it on Steam, and then they can download it and realize it's the best thing to hit VR since 2018. Glad you liked the barn enough to stream in it. Been a while since we hung out there. Yeah. No, I like this place. It's nice. Thanks for the help. I love the Neos Twitch streams. Aw, no problem. Love you too. Yeah, and check out the Patreon as well. Patreon is a great way to be able to get half of your money back, or even more than half of your money back as our Neos credits cryptocurrency, which can be a really great investment. And you can get extra storage inside of your Neos account. So the best way that I would say to support us that gives you back the most that you would want is become a Patreon. Yep. And yeah, I'd say it's a good stream environment. I'm probably going to be using this environment a lot for teaching new users because it's low lag and it's a nice little space. So I just called it the beginner's barn for the world as what it's in. Okay. So if we don't have any final question, I will be ending it off. I love you all. Thank you all again. Yes, old McDonald have a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm was an Aegis. E-I-E-I-O. With a whoo here and a whoo here. I just need an old avatar with beard and glasses and ready to learn from you. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Pica adios, amigos. Yes, pica adios. See you, little Pikachu. Love you all. I'm glad that you got and give us a thumbs up or put some Frox Haws in chat, and if you enjoyed this stream and want to see more of these for next week, and hopefully we can do part 2 of the learner beginner streams. Yes, put those Frox faces if you want to see more. Frox face. Yeah, no problem. Glad that I could be of help, Senor. Senor Bulbasaur. That's a cool name.
Senior.
See you, Skunk Shampoo. See you, Jezda. Au revoir. Au revoir. Bye bye. We'll do that zoom in face here. There we go. Go like, hello. We're leaving now. Okay. See you guys. Thank you to everyone who watched the stream. Bye. Whoa.